Indonesian police have arrested more than 20 people during demonstrations against President Joko Widodo's new jobs law. There are concerns the new regulations will hurt workers' rights. A petition to repeal the law is gaining ground online, and police have blocked workers from protesting in front of the Parliament building in Jakarta because of virus risks. But demonstrations continue in other places in Semarang, Java and West Sumatra.
It looks like a normal working day at this factory in Tangerang, just an hour's drive from Jakarta. But an hour later, the workers are still in no rush to go in. It's the second day of a national strike against a controversial jobs law. Championed by President Joko Widodo, the so-called omnibus bill aims to reform Southeast Asia's largest economy by cutting red tape and making Indonesia more attractive to foreign investment. But trade unions and activists say it's too pro-business and will hurt workers' rights. Authorities are prepared for unrest. Last night, they used tear gas and water cannon to control crowds who had gathered despite coronavirus risks. Police and military are ready to take action. They say they will continue to monitor factories and university campuses. Online, more than 1 million people have signed a petition calling for the law to be struck down.
Saiful Ismail joins us from Jakarta for more on this. Saiful, a nationwide strike, but generally the situation has been largely peaceful.
Well, Steve, not all of the demonstrations have been peaceful. Most of the demonstrations are happening outside Jakarta, for example, in neighboring cities like Karawang and Bekasi, where many factories are located. Workers in factories have been instructed by labor unions to stop work and participate in the strikes and demonstrations. In Semarang, central Java, thousands of protesters gathered outside the provincial parliament building. The local media reported that the rally started peacefully but later turned chaotic when protesters started throwing water bottles and other projectiles at police officers. Now, a similar incident was reported in Palembang, South Sumatra province. Police in Palembang arrested 180 protesters, and they found that some of them were carrying Molotov cocktail bombs. Now, it's the same story in Serang, Banten province. Local police said that these protests involved more than workers and students. They are investigating the involvement of individuals who have infiltrated into groups of protesters. These individuals may have their own interest for causing public chaos. Now, what is a bigger concern is that these demonstrations are being held amid the COVID-19 health crisis. Fresh cases continue to surge in many parts of Indonesia. Today alone, there are more than 4,500 new confirmed cases and 98 deaths. Now, these demonstrations involve thousands of people, many with no masks, no safe distancing. Now, there is a concern that the demonstrations may potentially be a super spreader events, forming large classes of COVID-19 transmissions.
Saiful, more than 1 million people are calling for change online. So is the government likely to address their concerns, though?
Well, Glenda, the government will address their concerns in the sense that it will do more to try to explain to workers the need to have the changes in labor regulations. However, it is unlikely that the government will accede to the demands of the workers to nullify the law. Now, various ministers involved in formulating the law met with the press today to give more details about what the law entails. Now, labor groups have also said that they will take the legal route to go to the courts to try and force the government to annul the law. Observers also said that perhaps what is needed now is for the government to communicate the changes to the public and put more effort coming up with a socialization program to make people better understand that Indonesia really needs this omnibus law on job creation. Observers said it is unfortunate that most headline stories about the law have singled out the most controversial of the thousands of provisions. Now, this has contributed to public hostility. More than 90% of the law is actually designed to stimulate domestic and foreign investment by removing bureaucratic inefficiencies and excessive licensing requirements that have long hindered competitiveness. Now, authorities said that the labor-intensive industries would remain unattractive to investors if the labor rules were not amended. For example, Indonesia is not known for its worker productivity, and too rigid labor regulations made it impossible to terminate a permanent employee. Now, labor experts have said there needs to be a balance. Employers want profits, the unions want better pay, and the government wants a conducive investment climate.